Now in this video, we're going to be breaking down what a 5 ETF portfolio would look like with $50,000 invested total and $10,000 invested into each of these slices. $10,000 invested into QQQI, GPIQ, JEPQ, BTCI, and lastly QDVO. 5 relatively high yielding ETFs that all have offered zero NAV decay, zero NAV erosion, consistent income since inception, and are ETFs that I personally would consider safe because what they hold on to, at least in my humble opinion. So if you want to break down what each of these ETFs are, how they work, and then towards the end of the video see what a $50,000 investment would pay you per month and per year, because trust me, it's massive. Then make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z Dividend Investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z Dividend Investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. Now, before I go through and share with you guys the numbers, the income potential for $50,000 invested into this high income portfolio, that's relatively safe, like I said. Going over some of the basics of each of the ETFs, QQQI or the NEOS NASDAQ 100 high income ETF offers you exposure to the NASDAQ 100, but through a high quality data driven call option strategy. Now, some of the things I love about this ETF is that, well, for one, it offers a 15% distribution rate, around 60 cents more or less per share per month is what we've seen since inception. But along with that, since inception, this ETF has more or less stuck pretty close to underlying NASDAQ 100, which is very, very impressive. Now, along with that, this ETF offers a ton of income, so taxes can be somewhat of a topic, but this ETF utilizes NDX index options classified as section 1256 contracts, which are subject to lower 60/40 tax rates. Now, all to say that as far as NASDAQ 100 high income ETFs go, this is one of my favorites across the markets. My longer term goal personally with this ETF is to get to 2,000 shares. The next ETF in the bunch that's relatively high yield, not as high of yield as the last one, but still offering around 11% yield, is one of my favorites, the Goldman Sachs NASDAQ 100 Premium Income ETF, or ticker symbol GPIQ. Now, this ETF seeks current income while maintaining prospects for capital appreciation. The thing I like about this ETF is that it provides equity exposure to the NASDAQ 100 index and then dynamically sells call options, which means the entire portfolio is not going to be hedged. So if the NASDAQ does have, let's say, a crazy good week, this ETF is going to see some capital appreciation because the entire portfolio isn't capped. Now, because of that, you are going to get a little bit lower of a yield, but still this ETF is offered investors like myself, because I personally hold on to some shares, or an 11% trailing 12-month dividend yield. Around 40 cents per share per month is what we've seen since inception. So again, a nice amount of income generation that's relatively tax efficient. And definitely when it comes to this one, there's some potential for capital appreciation. A newer name that I would add into this 5 ETF portfolio that I'm going to share with you guys the numbers in just a second here is QDVO, the Amplify CWP Growth and Income ETF. So some of you guys maybe have not dug into this one yet. It's only been trading since late last year. But first it says why invest into it: growth and high income potential, seeking capital appreciation from growth oriented stocks with high monthly income from option premiums and dividends. So yes, this ETF offers exposure to some large cap names like Nvidia, Microsoft, and Apple, and then individually sells cover calls on certain names in order to churn out a ton of income generation. Now, in case you're wondering how much income generation, we're talking 11% distribution rate, which is not bad whatsoever, especially when you're talking exposure to some of the super high quality growth names like I shared with you guys a second ago. Now, a few more to go through before we get into the numbers. JEPQ, the JP Morgan NASDAQ Equity Premium Income ETF, another high income ETF that offers NASDAQ 100 exposure, and then with the use of options, some high income generation, which as of recent, the high income generation has definitely been higher than we've seen. We're talking 14.5% as far as the 30-day SEC yield goes, and the most recent dividend was 62 plus cents. Now, keep in mind, JEPQ a year ago or so was paying 42 cents per share per month, so as of recently, it's been amazing to see some extra income. Now, last but not least, we have BTCI, the NEOS Bitcoin High Income ETF. Now, out of the entire bunch we talked about, I personally would consider this one a little bit higher risk just because Bitcoin has some higher implied volatility. But again, if you're bullish on Bitcoin long term, which I personally am at least somewhat, this ETF could be worth looking into. We're talking 30% distribution rates. Now, before you say, oh my gosh, how in the world is this ETF doing this? Well, keep in mind this ETF generates income from earning call options on Bitcoin future ETFs, which have extremely high implied volatility. Now, the ETF is relatively new, but so far the distributions have been $1.57, $1.43, $1.33, $1.25, and most recently $1.51 per share per month. Now, if Bitcoin's implied volatility drops significantly, we're probably not going to see this sort of distribution rate. But again, at least for the time being, I think Bitcoin's going to stay pretty hyped up. But again, I could be wrong. Now, I also want to share with you guys the fact that at least since inception, every single one of these names, we're talking JEPQ, GPIQ, BTCI, QQQI, and QDVO. Every single one of these names have offered a positive total return, some of them a little bit more than others, but keep in mind they all haven't been trading all that long. Now, of course, you can build out a high income portfolio full of ultra high yielders that might navigate like crazy over time. And I thought about making a video about some of those names, but I realized why not make a video of some high quality ETFs that are probably going to remain at least somewhat stable, if not grow over time, but also offer some high income generation. Which brings me into what you guys are probably all waiting for. Look at what would happen if you invested $50,000 total or $10,000 into each of these higher income ETFs that offer yields anywhere from 11% upwards to 30%. Now again, for the most part, every single one of these ETFs hold on to an underlying that I personally think is reasonably safe. But again, there's a spectrum there, so keep in mind. Now going down the list, the 30% yielder BTCI $10,000 investment would pay you around $3,000 per year, which is not bad whatsoever. QDVO, the 11% yield, will pay around $1,100. QQQI would pay around $1,500. GPIQ would pay you around $1,100, and JEPQ around $1,200. Now again, these numbers can and will change probably over time as some of these names change their dividends on a monthly basis, but as of right now, we're talking a $7,900 paycheck per year altogether, based off of just a $50,000 portfolio. So now that I share with you guys what it would look like with a $50,000 portfolio in total, $10,000 invested into some of my personal favorite higher income ETFs that are also relatively safe. All right, lastly, most importantly, I want to hear from you guys down below. When it comes to building out a high income position in your portfolio, whether it's stocks, whether it's ETFs, what are some names that you're chasing after buying consistently? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.